You are a hot mum. You're looking for your partner for life. You're looking for your soulmate. But all of these dating apps are so dangerous. Well, thankfully for you, there's a dating app called T. Now, all you have to do is verify your information, show a copy of your passport or maybe some ID, driver license, or even a face scan, and you're perfectly safe. No one will ever get access to your information. Yeah. So to give you some more context, there was a dating app called T, and the whole idea was that it gave women the ability to access background information on some of the men that use the app. The whole idea behind that is to make sure that you know who you're meeting up with, you know who you're dating, and it basically tried to make dating safer for women. Whether it worked or not is a different story, but part of this whole process was about transparency. Women had to verify their data by taking a selfie of themselves and holding up their passport next to them, or a driving license or a form of ID to say that they are who they really are. Now, fortunately for them, T, the app, they claimed that they deleted that data immediately, and it was just there for verification purposes. This is sounding familiar, and we'll get back to that one later because that one's interesting. But the whole idea is it was to make the whole dating ecosystem safer for women, which sounds pretty noble, right? Now, very quickly before we get into the juicy stuff, if you want to stay protected online and use a VPN, I've been partnered with private internet access for around about a year now. And if you use my link down below, you get yourself 4 months free, 86% off. And of course, it massively helps the channel. Overall, it works out about $2 a month, which is about like £1.60, £1.80 a month. But make sure you go and check them out. It does support the channel. Love you. Now back to the video. A dating safety app that allows women to do background checks on men and anonymously share red flag behavior has been hacked, exposing thousands of members' images, posts, and comments. T Dating Advice, a US-based women-only app with 1.6 million users, said that there had been authorized access to 72,000 images submitted by women. The further we get through this article, the crazier it gets. Some included images of women holding photo identification for verification purposes, which T's own privacy policy promises are deleted immediately. After authentication. Yeah, but they weren't, were they? T said the breach affected members who signed up before February 2024. It added it had acted fast and was working with some of the most trusted cybersecurity experts. T lets women check whether potential partners are married or registered sex offenders, as well as running reverse image searches to protect against catfishing, where people use fake online identities. By the way, that's cool, useful, but it's actually against pretty much every single terms of service to use reverse image searching to identify people. I don't know how they got away with that and were able to be on the Google App Store when, anyway, different video. But one of the most controversial aspects of T is that it allows women to share information on men they have dated to avoid red flags, but also highlight those with green flag qualities. Yeah, I'll be real, I don't think I've had a single ex that has much positive to say about me. The company said that the breached photos can in no way be linked to posts within T. The firm blocked screenshots so that the posts are not shared outside the app. Ready for it? But on Friday, it also admitted that an additional 59,000 images from the app showing posts, comments, and direct messages from over 2 years ago were accessed. T says that we're taking every step to protect this community now and always. Now, all of that is obviously awful, and there's obviously T have lied about a lot of things there very clearly because information that was supposedly deleted from their servers was accessed. Then 24 hours later, the UK government introduced the Online Safety Act, which requires people to submit photo evidence of themselves to many different websites all around the world. That sounds safe. Now, of course, this is absolutely diabolical timing for T and the UK government and us, but it is a really good example of what can go wrong. T had every privacy policy in place. They said that they deleted identification images immediately as soon as the person was verified, but as it turns out, they didn't. And also, we need to talk about some of the technical details of their hack. It wasn't done by some secretive agency or secretive group that have the top level access to some of the best, most powerful computers in the world. It was accessed through a domain that shouldn't be accessible to the public. It was basically a directory domain to the back end of their website that basically showed their internal filing system of all of the images and data relevant to their users. Technically speaking, someone just data scraped their website, which there's literally free tools out there that allow you to do that. Like, this wasn't a lapse in security. This was publishing your users' private information on a publicly accessible forum, which is absolutely insane. Now, what concerns me about all of this is a lot of people have said that, yeah, hacks happened all the time. time. And there's a lot of people in defense of this saying, well, how are they to know that someone would mess around with the URL and find the directory folder for the company? Well, the fact is that information shouldn't be accessible at all. No one should be able to get hold of that information. And this is one company that women around the world entrusted with their information. Now apply that to every single UK citizen over the age of 18 that has to provide ID to access news articles or Spotify, or as we've heard today, Grand Theft Auto. We then end up with everyone's private information available in some capacity on some website somewhere, which is such a huge national security risk that I don't even need to sit here and explain it to you. Now, something that I do find extremely interesting is obviously back in 2018 we had GDPR, which the whole point of GDPR was so that us as users, when we're using a website, we knew exactly what cookies and what tracking data was being taken from us as users of that site. And yes, if you're a business owner that uses a website, obviously you would have had a headache in 2018. I know I did. But overall, it was very pro-consumer. It was very, hang on, you as a user, you as a person need to know what data is being tracked from you. Now, this was an EU regulation. Obviously, at the time, Britain was in the EU. And when we left the EU, when Brexit took place, we continued using these same requirements because they are very pro-consumer. And GDPR, for all its flaws, was very good for us as users. And part of the General Data Protection Regulation handbook that was given out to every business was about how those businesses should handle people's data. But there was also a dedicated section for us users that basically said what we should be careful of, that we shouldn't be submitting any forms of ID or passports to any private websites. Now, obviously, after we left the EU, the government instituted its own version of that, and it pretty much was word for word exactly the same, just called something different. And just a mere 7 years later, they're saying, by the way, you should send your passports, your driving license to every single private business so you can use the interwebs. Like, what? And this just brings it down to the fact that all of this regulation is simply just to win good boy voting points for Labour, which I think has seriously backfired, because I'm sure there's many people out there that support this regulation, but I also think that there's a significant amount more people that don't. And this brings us to today with some more leaks. Yes, I've had a few people email me, message me, and by the way, thank you for all of the tip-offs you guys are giving me, that apparently data from UK citizens has already leaked on the internet. So on the deep web / dark web, there is passports, driving license, verification images already being sold from UK citizens that have been dated as current ones, as ones that have come from since this regulation came into effect. There's even whole businesses set up around the idea of selling this information in bulk quantities. Now, this has always existed on the dark web. Everyone knows this stuff has already been out there. People are selling identities all the time, but there's whole businesses and brands that have been created around the new Online Safety Act. Like, that's how serious this issue has already got. Now, I'm sure there'll be investigations over the coming weeks and months to find out where this data came from, but by the time they figure all of that out, there will be thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of more people's data leaked through various means. So yeah, this just proves that the Online Safety Act just doesn't work. One more thing that I just need to add to the end of this video. There's a TikTok account that's currently getting millions of views with my content, and a lot of people have been commenting on that and then emailing me, because they're trying to get hold of me. This isn't my account. This isn't me. This has nothing to do with me. This person's pretending to be me. I've noticed there's been a few links going up in the description to various Telegram groups. I don't have Telegram. I don't have any of this stuff. I'd never ask you for money on this channel. I'd never do anything like that. That person isn't me. And a lot of people are getting very frustrated because they've joined some group or group chats that are to do with me when they're not. I've spoke to TikTok, reported it to TikTok. TikTok have basically said that I can't prove who I am, so they don't need to prove who they are. And yeah, even though you can see that the videos are my YouTube videos, TikTok are doing absolutely nothing about it. But you need to know this so you don't get scammed. So yeah, that's not me. Thank you for watching. Make sure you go and check out private internet access at the link below. It helps the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.